Well, it doesn't seem like 5 months ago since 1Zpresso introduced their excellent espresso grinder, the J Max. And then a little while ago, a few weeks ago, they decided they're going to discontinue that grinder. And then again, right after that, reintroduced that grinder in the form of the J Ultra. It's a repackaged grinder, the body is totally different, it's more in line with the K Ultra, pretty much the same. And instead of the 8.8 microns from the J Max, you now got the 8 microns, so a slightly better micron size and slightly more grind adjustment for espresso if you need that. So in this video, we're going to do a quick unboxing and show you what you get with the new J Ultra. I'm going to compare both grinders, the J Ultra alongside the J Max, to show you kind of what the differences are and what you're getting with the new grinder. And then at the end, I'll have just a few of my thoughts on what I think is good or if I think there's anything bad. So please stick around, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're not new here, then thanks for popping back again. So the J Ultra, it comes in two different formats. One is this format here, it's the regular kind of stuff you're getting with the 1Zpresso boxes. And inside the box, the one that I've got right now is this one. It's the new travel case that they've introduced, and it's a little bit different to the regular 1Zpresso travel case. I think they've discontinued that case also. There's some different kind of details here, which a little bit later maybe I'll put these two together and I'll show you what the differences are between this one and the original travel case. But this is definitely a nicer package. It's got a lot more kind of nicer little finishes and details there. Inside, this is what you're getting with the new travel case and the J Ultra grinder. A little bit of padding there, and kind of take that away. You're getting the regular anti-slip ring. Again, it's got the 1Zpresso logo on there, and 1Zpresso writing, which seems a little bit different to the regular one. Get that. Obviously the cleaning pump. The balloon, you get that. And the grinder itself looks like this. It's the S series handle, as you can see there. That's like that. And when you take that off, it's obviously, I'm not going to move this out here because I don't think I need to really do that for you to understand what it looks like when it's actually manoeuvred into place. But that's what that looks like. It's got the frosted popcorn guard, and the handle is this colour and this shape, slightly different to some of the other handles, and obviously different to the regular J Max handle. Different shape there, so a little bit more comfortable to hold. So you get that. Let's put that down there. And then obviously the J Ultra looks like this. It's got the rounded off edges, the same as the K Ultra. It's got exactly the same adjustment dial on the top there. Apart from this part at the top, the adjustment dial on the K Ultra has got the numbers on there. As you can see, this is a little bit more like the dial that you get with the original J Max, where it's literally, you can see down to there and there's no edge on that. And maybe I'll show that later as well, up against the K Ultra, where you can kind of see the obvious difference. But the shape of it and the way it goes on there is pretty much the same as the K Ultra. The new travel case, it looks like this. As you can see, it's got this really nice kind of red finish around the zipper. Also, it's got a moulded interior where the parts, they fit in there really nicely. Let me just quickly get this handle in there to show you. so they fit in there and they don't move around. Usually you would need to put the handle in here to kind of stop it from moving around, certainly with the cylinder case. But you can also see from the original travel case, that's what this looks like. And inside, when you get your grinder, it will have like a molded kind of sponge in there. I bought this one separately, so I didn't get any of that in there, so I just kind of made a little bit of a padding to kind of put that in there for my own grinder. But when you buy these separately, you don't get any of that. Inside you've got a nice kind of soft material, you've got obviously your strap there to keep things in, and you've got the pocket at the top here. This one, the new case, is a little bit smaller, as you can see, kind of there. You can see it's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit thinner, as you can see there, so it's a little bit more compact. And again, it's got the logo in the center. That one's kind of off to the left a little bit, and it's a little bit brighter, that logo. It just looks, a little bit nicer. The handle is the same, where you've got like this, and the zip on the older ones are metal, like this one here, and this one is kind of the hard plastic with the 1Zpresso writing on there. But other than that, the handle's pretty much the same. There's no real difference there, but it certainly is a nicer feeling case. It just looks nicer. You've got like your brush in there and your card. I don't really need to take those out yet, but that's what that looks like. It's really nice. I mean, even this for the pump, that's molded as well, so that's really, really nice. So that's what they look like together. So the regular J Max alongside the new J Ultra, and this is, if you're not familiar with the J Max, this is what this looks like. It's got the catch cup, like so. You can see there the catch cup, and it's got this adjustment dial. If you look closely here, you've got some little markings just under the adjustment dial there, where they're used for telling you what full adjustment you're on. There's kind of 5 levels of that. Let me just open it so you can see what I'm talking about rather than just kind of doing that. Okay, so you can see that there. These give you an indication, a visual indication of how open or how close your adjustment dial is. As you can see there, the adjustment dial is slightly different to the J Ultra, and you've got your markings on there, and that's how that looks. Now, obviously, the J Ultra has still got these markings here as a visual indication, but this little kind of shaped adjustment dial is, I think, a lot better. One of the bear bugs that people had with the J Max was that to avoid putting your hand near the catch cup here, you tend to kind of move it further towards the adjustment dial, and if you do that, it can be easy to kind of move the adjustment dial with your hand. I feel, just after using this grinder a couple of times, that little step up there is something, when you feel it, it's not so easy to move your fingers onto the adjustment dial and move it. So I think personally that's definitely feels better in your hand. And also on this side where it kind of steps down a little bit, it fits into your hand quite snugly. I haven't got big hands, so I think if you've got big hands, then you might still have that kind of problem. But definitely this here and this here, it just feels nicer, and it's not so easy to kind of push the adjustment dial off. and you can kind of see what that looks like underneath there. It's still got the, you know, the magnetic catch cup on here, but it's just a nicer shape. It just looks better, and it feels better actually. Looking down, you can see both of them together. What I was saying about the top of the adjustment dial, that's what that looks like. So you've got two stabilizers on the adjustment dial, and then you've got the ones underneath, the 3 stabilizers just inside where the body is. So that's super stable. And this one again, that's kind of got the 3, and then inside you've got the 2. So it's kind of the opposite way around to what you've got here. I'm not sure if that's going to make it any more, I don't know, you grind particles a little bit more consistent or what, but definitely it's going to be very steady, and that's what that looks like, yeah. So together, the Ultra looks slightly smaller by just a little fraction on the bottom there. It looks a little bit thinner as well around the handle, obviously. The catch cup and the adjustment dial at the top is a little bit smaller, just kind of shows you, but the capacity is the same. This grinder is 8 microns now, so you get slightly more grind adjustment and a bigger grind range for espresso. This one obviously is 8.8, so that's more than enough for espresso. You've got a huge grind range for espresso with this grinder, but it is an espresso grinder, and yeah, that's what those look like together. The original handle for the J-Max is this one. It's the static. This is not the S series handle. It's just a normal one. They did update this grinder and, you know, give you the option of buying it with the S shape, and obviously you're getting that with this one. So that's the new S series handle that you get with all of the grinders now. They changed them all. Even the Q2, the cheapest one, comes with this shape handle now. What else is there? You know, I think that's probably everything, apart from there is the option right now, I don't know how long that's going to last, of being able to order the J Ultra with the regular cylinder case. So you have obviously the option of buying it with the new travel case or the cylinder case. And you can see there's a slight difference in price, but you can still get that. Again, I don't know how long that'll last, whether or not they'll discontinue the regular cylinder case and just keep the new travel case. So I'm not really sure how long that's going to be available. Another small difference that you'll notice with the burrs at the bottom, they've got this kind of black finish on these burrs now, and the original J-Max is like this, so you can kind of see there is a slight difference with the burrs. I don't know if they've used a different coating for this, I'm not really sure, but it kind of looks like they have, to be honest. I'm going to take these burrs out so you can have a closer look at what they are in the J-Max and what they look like in the J Ultra. Okay, so the burrs, when you take them out for the J Ultra, you've got this, and as you can see, they're coated 48 7-core burrs, and that's what they look like. But the obvious difference between these two from the J-Max is the cap that goes onto the burr shaft. It's not there from the J Ultra. And I'm a little bit surprised at that, to be honest. I mean, it's something I wasn't really sure about until I just looked there. So that is quite a difference there. I'm not sure again if that's an improvement or whether or not they've done that for a reason. I need to ask them about that. Maybe again it's just to cut down on something that they think is not really needed, maybe the weight or something. It could be that. Maybe it's to do with static, to cut down on retention. It could be something like that. Maybe that coating affects the retention in some way. It could be that, like anti-static or something. I don't really know, but you know, it is significant. I feel that that's something that they've taken off completely. If I get any update on that, I'll kind of update this video and explain why they've done that. But yeah, that's what the burrs look like in the new J Ultra as opposed to the burrs from the old regular J Max. The outer burrs for the J Ultra are a little bit different to the outer burrs from the J Max. And if you can see here, if you can see in that light, this shiny material, this inlay on the bottom of the burrs, if the catch cup's going on there, that's a magnet. And that's totally different to the regular magnet from the J Max, as you can see here, where you've got these kind of magnets inlaid in here and in the catch cup itself, like so. So you can see you've got magnets on that side and you've got magnets on that side. For the Ultra, like I say, you've got this kind of strip, it looks like a strip and inlay, and the catch cup has got the regular magnets like that. Now, I would say that this catch cup is a lot more strong. It sits on there, it's quite sort of tight like that. That is a lot more secure than the catch cup from the J Max. It just feels a lot stronger, that magnet. As you can see with this one, it's okay, but you know, this one definitely feels a lot more secure when it's on there. It just took me a little bit of, yeah, it's stronger, definitely it feels stronger, that. Okay, and some people were asking me about the inner burrs. Are the inner burrs any different to the J Max? In the same way that I was explaining with the X Pro and the X Ultra, where they've kind of changed the burrs slightly on that grinder, and also on the Q2 heptagonal and the Q2 Air, where I say that these burrs, the ends, the blades on those grinders are a little bit different. These are not. These are just the same. They're exactly the same, to be honest. Let me just get this one as well, and you can kind of see these side by side, if you can see that there. Yeah, and they're just the same. The material, the coating on this looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit darker. I don't know if they've changed that again. I mentioned that earlier, but I'm not really sure if they've done that. They haven't said anything, they didn't mention anything, but it does actually look darker, those. And I don't think it's just because these burrs are old now, but I do think they've kind of changed the material on the inside. It just looks a little bit, definitely a little bit different. If you can see those. But yeah, those are the inner burrs, and they fit on there quite nicely. Again, it's got the kind of the shaped body when that sits on, and you can see inside there. That's what the inner part of that looks like. It's got the 3 stabilizer instead of the 2, like on the J Max, and the J Max adjustment dial has got the 3 stabilizers there, and it's the opposite for this. The Ultra's got 2 on the top for the adjustment dial, and it's got the 3 on the inside. There is a couple of things here I'm not entirely sure what that's for. There's some little screws on the inside there, if you can kind of make those out. Let me just get the light on this so you can see a little bit better. It's a little bit dark in here at the moment. Those screws, and there is 4 of those, and I haven't tried to take the adjustment dial off, but I'm thinking maybe that's to stop it coming off. Let's just see if we can take that off without it stopping. Well, that looks like it's zeroed at that point, so I'm assuming if I can turn it any more, it's going to pop off. Yeah, I think that'll come off. I don't think that's to stop them, and I don't want to take that dial off. But yeah, anyway, that's what the body looks like on the J Ultra. It's really nice. I like the shape of it. It's pretty good. and that's what the burrs look like from the bottom. You can't really see, so well, let me try and get a little bit more light on this. You can kind of see a little bit, maybe not, but yeah, that's what the burrs look like below there. I think I kind of have a feeling that they might have changed the coating on these burrs. It looks a little bit different, but that could just be me. I don't think that's really something that they've done. It just kind of looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit shiny, but who knows? Maybe it's just because it's new. But yeah, that's what they look like. Another thing that's worth noting also, when you put your burrs in, and you have to press up with your burrs to get the thumb nut on there, and sometimes you've really got to press that up, and this area here, when you push your finger in there, it can be a little bit difficult with the regular J Max. It seems like this is a little bit too big for you to comfortably get your hand in there. I struggle with that a little bit. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but this one, it's a little bit smaller where the burrs go in there, and it just feels a little bit easier to actually get the burrs in. Let me just put those in like so, like this. So when you've got them in and you're pushing up like that, this is a lot easier actually. It just feels a lot, just not so tight, and doesn't seem to give you a kind of painful experience. So yeah, like this, when you push that in like so, and you're getting your thumb nut on, let me see if I can get that in focus, like so. You have to really keep pushing that in to get the thumb nut all the way on, otherwise it doesn't fit properly. And that's a little bit easier with this one. It just feels more comfortable, but that's a little bit different also. So in conclusion, do I think the new J Ultra is a worthy upgrade from the regular J Max? Yeah, I do. I mean, anything that improves on the previous grinder is, in my opinion, it's worth it. I mean, usually when 1Zpresso do these upgrades, they're usually quite subtle. A little bit here, a little bit there. And they don't really push the price point too much when they do these things. It might be $10 or something. You know, it's usually not so much. I think 1Zpresso recently have done a few things that I think they're trying to move away from certain things, and I don't really want to go into that too much right here. But I've kind of got an idea of why they're doing these things, especially with the new handles. I think when they did this was definitely a response of something that was going on within the coffee grinder market. A certain company that I really don't want to go into is kind of bullying some other coffee companies or grinder, you know, people who release grinders were getting a little bit bullied by a certain company. And I think one of the reasons was to do with the shape of certain things to do with the grinder, and one of those things was the handle. So I'm kind of thinking that's why they did that. They changed the shape and the design of the handle as a reaction to that. I also think that what they're just trying to do is they tend to release too many grinders that look the same, and it can be really confusing for people who don't really know about 1Zpresso grinders to see what the difference is. And one of the reasons I kind of like the J Max when they released that was the shape also, and the adjustment dial was just different to the other grinders. It just stood out a little bit more. And I liked that. I didn't like the fact that you could totally take the adjustment dial off. That kind of popped off and surprised a few people, including me, and it can be a bit hit and miss to get back on properly. So, you know, there's that. Plus the magnetic catch cup. I'm not a big fan of that personally. Some people love that, but for me, it's just another thing to kind of watch out for when you're grinding, and it just kind of takes you out of the experience a little bit, that you've got to be careful with that. And like I said earlier, just this adjustment dial where you place your hand can be a little bit fiddly to kind of try not to move that adjustment dial by a click or two when you're grinding. So there's those, but other than that, this is an excellent grinder. It's one of the best espresso grinders you can get. So when they totally redesigned the body, I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're just trying to make things look a little bit more uniform. It's certainly more comfortable, so that's good. The catch cup is definitely more secure, it just feels more secure. The adjustment dial doesn't seem to want to move so much if you get your hand up too far. The stabilizers inside there, again, I'm not sure if that's going to be significant over time, but yeah, fair enough, why not? But other than that, yeah, for sure. I mean, the inclusion of the new travel case is definitely an upgrade, and I think that's excellent. I really like that, as opposed to the regular travel case that was a little bit fiddly. I don't know, it just wasn't so nice. I like the moulded interior, it just looks really nice. It's a little bit more premium and just looks better. So again, just for that slightly higher price point, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. The drop in 8 microns, I think that's maybe just an afterthought, to be honest. I don't think that's going to be really significant in regards to grinding espresso. It'll give you a little bit extra grind range, but you don't really need it. I mean, 8.8 is more than enough. If that's not enough for you, I really don't know what to say. And then kind of down from that, what have you got? You got stepless. You know, do you really need stepless? That's great again, but it's stepless. I mean, if you can't grind espresso with 8 or 8.8, then again, I don't know what to say about that. Plus, I would also say that the finer that you go with your micron size, it's going to affect the flavour, especially in the medium grind range for pour over. So there's that. Like I say, the finer you go, if you're going to use this for pour over, you need to be aware of that, because that's definitely going to have a totally different flavour profile to something like the K series with 20 microns or 22 microns. So just be aware of that. It's going to be, I don't know, I haven't noticed any difference between the J Ultra and the J Max in regards to flavour profiles. There's no real difference, but some people may be able to notice that. But that's definitely worth pointing out. But other than that, I just think it's a great grinder, and I don't see it's any worse. It's definitely better in those little details, and it's worth the money in my opinion. It's worth that extra few dollars, whatever. So yeah, if you haven't bought this yet, maybe go and buy that for your first espresso grinder, and it should last you years. They're going to be phasing out the production of the J Max soon anyway, so you won't really be able to buy that soon, and this is going to be, you know, the replacement for that, so just be aware of that also. And yeah, that's my video, and I hope there's some information in there for people. It's a great grinder, so if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up, and hopefully, you know, it's helpful for you. Have a nice day as usual, and take care.